The best of Buenos Aires. Beautiful buildings, bars, bookstores, and brilliant benefactors. In early 2024, I spent an entire month in the remarkable city of Buenos Aires. Even as the taxi headed to my accommodation, I couldn't stop staring up at the beautiful buildings flying by my window. The Museo del Agua y de la Historia Sanitaria, the Museum of Water and Sanitation, caught my attention immediately, and I made a mental note to return a couple of days later to marvel at the multifaceted architecture. Wandering the streets of the famous city, stunning buildings are everywhere. The Congreso de la Nación Argentina, or the National Congress of Argentina, is truly majestic and takes up an entire city block. Being ever so slightly obsessed with domed roofs and ceilings, I marveled at the green cupola that sits atop the edifice. Also being partial to columns and ornately carved marble, both of which were in no short supply, I ran my eyes along the exterior, soaking up the exquisite workmanship. A week later, I headed to the Retiro bus station to book tickets for my upcoming journey to Paraguay and came across Torre Monumental, an imposing clock tower that looks striking against any background. As I wasn't able to get the tickets on my first visit, I wandered back down a few days later, which allowed me to view the structure on both sunny and cloudy days. She made a distinguished silhouette against both backdrops. Slap bang in the middle of Avenida de Mayo, an important avenue running from the Plaza del Congreso to the Plaza de Mayo, sits a truly spectacular building, the Palacio Barolo. Designed by an Italian architect as an homage to Dante Alighieri's epic poem, The Divine Comedy, the 22 floors reflect 3 levels of the soul's journey toward God. The basement and ground floors represent hell. The next 14 symbolize purgatory, and the last 8 epitomize heaven. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the street museum of Caminito, one of Buenos Aires' most iconic attractions in the neighbourhood of La Boca. The colourfully painted houses are characteristic of the Italian immigrants who landed in Argentina at the end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th centuries. The vibrant colours delight the eyes, while the sounds and smells of nearby vendors tantalize the rest of the senses. On the recommendation of a Brazilian friend who had visited the city a couple of months prior, I headed to a theme bar called The Hole. Entering the bar was a feat in itself, as it can be easily missed if you don't know what you're looking for. Its black door very unassumingly sandwiched between 2 retail stores in the suburb of Palermo. The whole bar emulates an American prison, with cells available for fun photo opportunities, drink names continuing the jail theme, and decor that was too good to ignore. A cigarette machine greets you as you enter, offering the opportunity to buy prison currency, as well as an old rotary phone to make the one phone call anyone who has watched a Hollywood movie knows all too well. The best feature, however, was a height marker wall for patrons to take their very own mugshots. Believe it or not, I have always wanted my own mugshot and was only too happy to look devastated as I posed for one. El Ateneo Gran Splendid is one of the most famous bookstores in the world and was voted the world's most beautiful bookstore by National Geographic. Upon entering, it's easy to see why. The bookstore was once a theatre. On all 3 levels, Books line the walls of the repurposed building, with ornate carvings adorning each balcony as your eyes pan the massive space. Nestled behind the heavy red curtains of the stage is a coffee shop where customers sip lattes and eat pastries as they catch up with friends or type furiously on computer keyboards. The first place I headed the day after I arrived in Buenos Aires was Casa Rosada, the office of the President of Argentina. That, however, was not the reason for my visit. I desperately needed to lay my eyes on the balcony where Maria Eva Duarte de Perón, lovingly known as Evita, delivered her famous speech to the descamisados on October 17, 1951, after her husband became president. I have felt connected to the strong woman who rose from the slums to become an activist, philanthropist, and advocate for the working class since I was in my late teens. After becoming completely enthralled by her life, as depicted in Andrew Lloyd Webber's famous rock opera, Evita, I read her biography and felt a kinship with a woman I would never meet. A few weeks later, I made my way to Recoleta Cemetery to see her final resting place. After wandering down row after row of remarkable tombs and graves, many housing the remains of some of Argentina's most notable people, I saved the best for last. I'm not sure what I expected exactly, but it was definitely different from the black marble tomb I found as I snuck down the narrow aisle leading to the famous mausoleum. With fresh flowers laid at the gravesite, I spent a few silent moments paying respect to a woman I truly admire. As one plaque says, she is eternally in the heart, and another states, do not cry for me, lost or far away. I am an essential part of your existence. With those words, I'll say farewell to beautiful Buenos Aires.